This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
I also want to mention, it is cool that you're going on last. And I understand when you want to go full bore physically, even if maybe it's not the best idea, because I want to add this to context. You're following Rock Austin. This is Steve Austin's retirement match, the end of the trilogy between the two biggest stars, arguably in the history of the company, The Rock and Stone Cold. And you've also got Hulk Hogan's match earlier on the card. It had been really heavily promoted. The Hogan-McMahon thing got so much promotion. It was almost like it was the main event based on the poster and things like that. So it almost feels like knowing, that you have to be the competitor you are to win the Olympics. You're going to go out there and prove, hey, I belong here, broken neck or not, right?
Yeah, it was, seeing the WrestleMania promotions and commercials, and it was more prone toward The Rock and Stone Cold and Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan. Angle versus Lesnar wasn't as heavily advertised, and I don't know why. I think Vince was a little tentative of the star power because Brock was new. I was relatively new, 3 years in the business. But you have Rock and Austin that have been established main eventers, and they won numerous world titles, and then you had the street fight between Vince and Hulk Hogan, which was going to be a street fight, which not really a wrestling match, but it was going to add a different flavor to the pay-per-view, and I think we all brought that. So I would have preferred that we be advertised a lot more. Yeah. But I think that, Rock and Austin were the biggest names.
Do you think in hindsight, some of his hesitation to promote the match more could have been based in the fact that you were injured and he wasn't sure that he would be able to deliver it? Because you don't want to tease and promote something and then not be able to deliver it, right?
It's crazy. I never thought about that. And I think you're absolutely right. I think that, Vince, I heard rumors that Vince was nervous that I would back out and not go through with the wrestling match at WrestleMania. So he was waiting for me to make a call to him to tell him that I wasn't going to do it. And I never did call him. I continued on. So I understand why he promoted the other matches more than mine, because he didn't know if it was going to happen or not.
Let's talk about what Meltzer wrote in late March in the Observer. He says, if Angle is to aggravate his condition and it ends his career, everyone will be second guessing this forever. McMahon's judgment will be questioned greatly. This is risking the career and potentially the long-term health of what most internally consider the company's most valuable performer going forward, because of one pay-per-view show where his presence really isn't going to even make a significant difference in the buys. McMahon has been in this position before, both with Michaels and in 1987 with Andre the Giant, who went into the Hulk Hogan match largely incapacitated to the point he could only wrestle 4 matches over the next year. So I guess in hindsight, it was a pretty major risk. We know for the most part it worked out. But do you think Vince worried? Did he just trust his athlete to make a good decision, or was Vince worried that you might be making a decision that was maybe not the best one?
Well, I think that, Vince probably wanted to save the pay-per-view. And I mean, it was a big card, a lot of big names, but I think that, the value of wrestling, the quality of wrestling that Brock and I would bring to the table for WrestleMania was a lot different than the other matches. We were more of an amateur wrestling background and more technical. And I think that Vince wanted that added to the pay-per-view. So, he didn't really, when I told him I wanted to do it, he wasn't like, you can't, Kurt, your neck's broken and you can't do this. He was more, let's see if the doctor clears you, and if he does, let's do it. But you got to be careful. And I took his advice, and I think that I made the right move. But it's it is what it is, and Vince did have an influence on me.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.